Hello. A few weeks ago, my vet took an x-ray of a dog, an older dog that we have, because she had a limp, and it wasn't getting better. And after that, for a few days, I had absolutely no doubt in my mind that she wanted to get well, that she would just get well. And I knew that. But we had a biopsy done, and then the results from that came back, of course, much more specific, and there were meetings with vets and talks about alternatives and, treatment and all of that. And then I sort of began to lose that, and the diagnosis became more real and sort of what I focused on. But my question is really, after I started being sad and not so sure that she would get well, I started thinking maybe that an unconscious vibration that I might have had might have contributed to it.
Your beasts are, for the most part, pure positive energy, in that they have that ability to go to that space where their vibration just raises, because they don't have so many issues that they focus upon and fret and worry about. But when they hang around with you all, who do tend to fret and worry, then sometimes they begin to sort of mimic your vibration a little more. And that is the reason that it is almost non-existent to find a wild beast experiencing the results of resistance, while it is quite common to find domesticated beasts experiencing the result of resistance. Now, we're not saying that you're offering so much resistance that your beast was infected by your resistance. We're saying when you domesticate a beast, it hangs around with other domesticated beasts, and it hangs around with you who is responding to your television, and it hangs around with you who's having conversations with friends. And very often they are very willing replicators of vibration that sort of help you out in that way. Also, now there's something else very important that we want to give you here, and that is that your beasts understand something that humans understand but don't want to understand, and that is that you are all temporarily here in these temporary bodies. You are eternal beings, but you are in this particular body on a very temporary basis. And the beasts don't have any problem at all about coming and going and coming and going and coming and going and coming and going. They love the now. And when you think about an animal like a dog who can be a pup and almost get up to speed with his full adulthood very quickly, where humans, you've got those crawling years and those toothless years and those having to be made to go to school years. In other words, you feel more reluctance about your returning to this time-space reality than the beasts do. And sometimes you superimpose your desire for them to live forever. So if you had your way, most of you, and we can really feel it with you, if you had your way, this dog would live to be really, really old. And this dog says, it's not my style nor my wish, so I'll find a convenient way out. You all do that. Every death is suicide, because you are the only ones who can offer your vibration. So we don't want you to leave this conversation feeling any concern about your negative influence over your dog. But we do want your experience with this dog to make you alert to what's going on in the vibration that surrounds you. So that as you bring your next frisky little pure positive energy puppy beast into your experience, you can get off on a different foot. This is the thing that we want you to hear. You cannot influence someone against their vibrational will. And that's why we don't want you to feel regret or responsibility for what anybody else is doing. Just take the experience as the beasts wanting to help you to recognize that you have some control over your vibration. There's another thing that's very big here. We're beginning to feel it popping up all over the place with you, and that is humans worry about death and beasts don't. And sometimes they want to help you get over that. Are any of you under the illusion that you will not die relatively soon in terms of the eternalness of you, you see? And so we think it's a very nice thing when you come to terms with this inevitable stage of life. The beast is like Esther. It wants to be happy, healthy, happy, healthy, happy, healthy, dead. In other words, you don't need to destroy your body until the choice is live or die. Death feels better from this place of fear of death. And that's what so many people are doing. They have such dread of death. You give people the death penalty, for heaven's sakes. Don't you find that interesting? If you knew what death really was, you'd be giving them the death reward. You wouldn't give it to those buggers that you're so mad at. And so almost the day you're born, you start worrying about death. Someone dies and you say, oh, I am so sorry. And what you really want to say is, well, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice that this person is completing their cycle and reemerging into pure positive energy and becoming utterly at one with who they are and dropping in one fell swoop all resistance and becoming one with infinite intelligence and now remembering who they are and all that they're about and living in this endless joy and still having access to all of us. In other words, there is not one reason to ever feel one little particle of sorry about someone dying. Death is not a symptom of resistance. Death is an inevitable cycle. But sickness before death is a symptom of resistance. And a lot of people equate the two. Most people think they've got to get sick to die. And if you don't believe it, do a poll on people in your Western world, and you will find out how many of them either have health insurance because they're sure that their last days will be with tubes up their nose, or they are unhappy that they don't have health insurance to pay for the increasingly high medical costs that they assume will be the way they will spend their last days. And we say, or you could be like the cat who chooses to get run over. Or you could just lay down in your bed happily one night, so content and thoughtless. Wanting nothing in this physical world and just reemerge into pure positive energy. In other words, you can play it out any way you choose. But don't worry about how anybody else plays it out. If you have a sort of inkling that you might have negatively influenced your dog, it's because you know that you're not always sunshine, lollipop, and roses. And nobody is. And isn't it nice to be aware of that?
Well, and as people always ask, oh, how old is she? I'm not for sure, but it's 10 or 11. And they always go, oh, well, you know. And so I was thinking, well, maybe I just got that somehow in my head. Oh, she's 10 or 11. She should be dead, you know. And then, so she gets sick from my expecting her to be sick and die.
When people ask Esther how old she is, she always says, I'm just a puppy. We're only as old as we feel. We're only as old as we vibrate. We're only as old in the sense that they mean it as our resistance level or as our alignment. And so age doesn't matter. The passing through years doesn't matter. Everything is about vibrational relativity, you see.
So she's sick because of resistance, but it could be my resistance, not hers, obviously.
Yes, and you know, sometimes animals get sick because they really are ready to go, but they live in a house that doesn't want them to go. And that's the point of resistance. Don't you often hear stories of loved ones who are in the hospital or on what is called their deathbed, who have people lingering, they're hardly taking a shower, they're staying night and day, and then they step out into the hallway for 1 minute to go to the bathroom, and they come back and they're gone. And we say, they leave at the crack of least resistance. In other words, they've been trying to get out of there for a long time. And it's really hard to go when there's somebody there saying, don't go, don't go, don't go, don't go, don't go. So then, some of them, the wiser ones, get really sick. And then you say, oh, go. It's better that you go.
Should I be encouraging her to go?
Say to her, thank you for being an example to me and helping me to be alert to the idea that I'm wanting to always be a positive influence, because I don't ever again want to wonder if I have negatively influenced anyone. I want to be feeling so good so much of the time that when somebody I know has an experience like that, I want to say, couldn't have had anything to do with me because I don't have those thoughts and I don't feel that way. And then say to her, and whenever you're ready, it's fine. Stick around if you want or go if you want. Just please yourself. Please yourself.
So in a sense, my feeling good and being happy is kind of a responsibility.
You're feeling good and being happy. We want it to be a responsibility only to you, and we
myself.
want everyone else to dovetail with you as law of attraction matches them up.
Okay.
You see. And we think that what you will notice is as you sigh that sigh of relief and really leave that resistance of responsibility that you are taking on behind, that your dog will do one of two things. She will reemerge into pure positive energy and recover completely, or she will allow wellness and recover completely. But you can't feel controlling of her choice. In other words, you really have to mean it when you say, please yourself.
That's good advice for everything.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be wonderful to be with someone who says, please, I am not going to hold you and your behavior. I'm not going to make the way I feel contingent upon any of that. So be happy or don't. My happiness doesn't depend upon what you do. And your dog is wanting us to say that to you.